Welcome to my morning coffee. Always bold, hot, and full of flavor. Gia and Tonya are my morning coffee. What's in your cup?
We're on. We're live. We're here.
Hey.
Welcome to another edition of My Morning Coffee with Tonya and Gia, where the conversation is always hot, bold, and full of flavor. Today we have an amazing filmmaker. We'll be bringing him on in a bit, but before we bring him, let's find out on this Wednesday what is in Miss Gia's cup and what she's been up to.
Good morning, guys.
Let me see that. Hold that there. Okay. I like that.
Yeah. That's me sometimes.
Sometimes. What about the other times?
Girl. Other times, you know, who knows what you're going to get or what it is. I haven't been up to nothing. I have coffee in my cup this morning, people. You know, it's Wednesday, hump day. And, so I'm just drinking a little bit of coffee. Haven't been up to much since you guys last seen us. Just kind of laying low, you know, have had a few doctor's appointments since Monday. So I've been going, you know, kind of back and forth to the doctor, trying to get it together. So, cause I have a few injuries. So I have to go to the doctor for these injuries.
Dude, you got injuries like a football player. What is going on with you?
Well, you know, it's just 30 years of law enforcement will take its toll on your body, if people don't know that, and your mind. But yeah, so I have these are a few work injuries I'm going to the doctor for this week. So I went and saw he's a neck doctor, because I have some some disc problems, some things going on with my discs, and I'm supposed to have surgery, but I've been putting it off. So when I saw the doctor yesterday, he was like, well, it's been over a year. I want to get a new MRI to see, what's going on, if, with your spine and all that kind of stuff. So,
your back hurting. Are you sure that wasn't from throwing wood?
No, it's not from throwing wood. No, it's funny because it's funny because the pain is not really in my back. The pain is in my neck and my shoulder. That's where the pain has always been. So it's kind of funny how it's happening. But the area that they say that
a good swing can do that to you. Again,
yeah. Okay,
never mind.
So yeah, so it's the C3 and the C4 where I have that's causing me the problems. So yeah, so I had to go see him. So we'll see. I'm waiting for the I think
retirement calls for more regular massages. I think you should just retire and get you a good masseuse, or let Jeff take up massage therapy also while he also cooks. And
so that that's how my week is a week of appointments. That's the only thing, it's like you got these ailments, and I don't know about y'all, but I don't like going to the doctor. It's just certain things, and I just don't like doing, because first of all, you make an appointment. Your appointment's at a certain time, right? And you get there, you try to be diligent and get there at your appointment, but they never call you back at the appointment time. They're always behind, but then they mad at you if you're running late. If you happen to be late, they always mad at you. So it's just, I think it's the chore of going to these appointments, because they're never at an opportune time. You try to make them for your schedule, but you never can. So it's in the middle of the day sometimes. So you're kind of sitting around waiting. Oh, I can't do too much. I got to go to the doctor, stuff like that. But yeah, but other than that, haven't been up to nothing, Tonya. Just trying to stay stress-free, and you know.
Yeah.
Hey. Yeah. What about you? What have you been up to since we last were together?
Just drinking out of my morning coffee cup.
Okay.
Working on some things. Have a webinar coming up for some authors.
Okay.
So working on that, trying to take care of myself. These kids is driving me crazy. I have a lot of children and they come with a lot of work. And my 13-year-old seems to think that my schedule is really his to run. So we've been having some challenges in regards to him recognizing that I think he thinks he's my husband. Like your schedule is my schedule and my schedule is my schedule.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So,
well, you know, hey, when Ray's not home, he's like the man of the house. So, I get it because Ray Jr.'s off of college. So, he says, hey.
I'm not with the shit, okay? I had to tell him that this morning. I'm gonna need you to come up to the school. First of all, this fool got in trouble. His AirPods, the school took his AirPods, right? So in order for them to get them back, I have to go get them. Then he wants to go to his sister's game after school. So he didn't plan for me to come early, get the iPods, fight traffic, then get him over to his sister's game, sit there and wait, and then chauffeur him back home. I was like, if you don't.
Well, see, he's trying to be supportive to his sister because she's doing something new right now. So, he's doing his thing. So, hey, Tonya, that's the part they don't tell y'all about when y'all decide to have these kids, that when they get a little older, that y'all's life is really not your life no more. It's their life. So, hey.
I'm going to need your ass to go on and retire and you can be Auntie Gia and chauffeur him around. Auntie.
So, yeah, well, see, when I retire, I will, I'm Auntie Gia now. But see, that's the thing about aunties. See, aunties be laying the law down. We be like, look, what we not gonna do and what auntie not gonna do. At least this auntie, that's how I do it. Look, what auntie not gonna do and stuff. We ain't gonna be doing all that now. We gonna come, we'll go to a few things. But all that, because I'm like, look, I ain't your mama. See, because mama gonna do it, but auntie gonna be like, look, boy, we ain't doing that. And no.
By the time you retire, he's gonna be looking for some driving lessons. So go and get ready. You go and get ready.
So yeah.
That's it. Work stuff, regular work stuff, podcasting, talking to the people, out in public with the people. We told you about the Super Bowl run here in Redondo. I don't think I got into being the MC of the costume contest, but it was funny because the guy running the event, he was on stage with us and I was on stage with the CEO. We were emceeing the event and it was great. He's trying to rush us on, like, hurry up. And they told me to hurry up. And I'm looking at him like, well, who is they? We are they. We are they. This is the CEO. I am the CEO.
Yeah.
Who are they? Who are you talking about? He looking, I didn't know. Well, if you don't stop, I'm gonna throw you off. It was just a whole mess. Anyways, we got some pictures back. It was great. Some men had dressed up like Disney princesses. I'm gonna bring them pictures to y'all in a bit. Looking out, and they won the contest. They were just amazing. They ran in their dresses and they crowns. They won. It was great. It was a good time.
It's just so much stuff be going on in that Redondo Beach that I didn't even know that y'all do that kind of stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all never down the beach have it going on. It's just all kind of stuff.
If something goofy going on, I'm there.
Yeah.
I need a good laugh.
Yeah, I guess we all been sleeping on Redondo Beach.
I mean, it might be a little more fun these days because it's a little more melanated than it was prior. But all that being said, good to see you on this Wednesday. We're going to go ahead and bring on our guest. I'm glad he's here. I don't know if you guys remember Dr. Goody Goodlow, but this is a friend of his and he has some interesting work that we're going to share with you guys, but let's go ahead and bring him on. Mr. James Williams, how are you?
I'm well. I'm blessed. I've got a nice cup full of coffee, halfway gone already. Honored to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be on and to come up in Mr. Goodlow's wake and ride his coattails for a minute.
Well, no, you clearly he thinks very highly of you and what you have going on. So why don't you talk to us about what you have been up to and why you know your coffee is all gone already, half gone already. Clearly you got a lot going on. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I was actually literally at a coffee house a little while ago to set up the Wi-Fi and everything to refill my cup, and the Wi-Fi says I'm out of here. And I said, okay, well, I'm out of here with you. And so scrambling. That's sort of been my mantra of filmmaking, is that it's not always the most perfect setup, but you work with what you have and you roll with it and you make it happen anyway. And you find a way to complete it. And so I put off on the side of the road. I'm up here on Washington Boulevard near Lincoln. Nice quiet spot. But what's been in my cup is, wow. I mean, it's faith, family, and film. And I'm blessed to be alive this morning. And I have a great family support. My son turned 16 today, so I can empathize with the struggles of the young teenagers there. There's that scene in Albert the Gentleman when Lou Gossett and Richard Gere get into it, and he says, "Don't you eyeball me, boy." So now he's 6'1", 260, looking at me like, "What?" So I'm like, "Don't you eyeball me, boy." So he's, you know, testing the metal here. Daughter is heading to college, and just I want to be like her one day when I grow up. Just this brilliant mind, and of course the boss, that'd be my wife. She's running the show. So am I number one fan and film supporter, along with Goodlow. And so what I'm doing now are projects. I've done this maybe a little over 12 years, and I'll give you a little more of that backstory, I guess, as we continue on the conversation. But it's been a great journey, and continue to move forward on it.
Well, I want you, before we go into the trailer, and then we'll get a little bit more into your career, talk about the work that you've been doing. Talk about what inspires you. And you haven't always been a filmmaker. So where did this come from?
Well, I started off as an engineer, civil engineer, Port of Long Beach. Moved from there to firefighting. And along the course there, I was driving limousines as a part-time job in the evenings, and ran into some interesting clients. And I have a martial arts background and things like that. So the company I worked for decided to ask me if I wanted to come on full-time, and made me a very lucrative offer. And so I began driving celebs. I mean, people, Oprah. I've driven Oprah for a couple of years, and it was their security guy here in LA. Arsenio Hall for a couple of years on his show, and Tom Hanks, and not a lot of name dropping, but just people in the industry who were very established. And it put me in a position to actually go on tour with Michael Jackson. And so I did a world tour with him for a couple of years. And then from them came other artists. And so I kind of got swept into the securing them and being their personal assistants or whatever needed in that capacity. And on some of the travels around the world here, there were certain images and realities that came into my focus, just the struggles and the plight of humanity and things like that. And it sort of kind of put a burden on me that I wish that these stories were highlighted in some way. My wife, back then we were just dating, and she would introduce me into poetry. She says, "Why don't you write a poetry?" So she started write poetry. So sort of opened up the creative window, and it kind of felt good to do that. And so I picked up a camera. I was still doing bodyguard work, but I picked up a camera and I started doing little home videos, and felt kind of good, and started to tell stories here and there, a little thing. And then my wife and I were looking into adopting. And so we were blessed to find this little boy that came into our life. And the way he showed up at our front door, he came in our front door with a trash bag. He had been moved around 5 times in 4 years, different homes, and never had a real connection. And so my wife said, so we should do a story about that, and let's go for it. So we got some friends, we put together some funds, and we financed the whole thing. And we shot this short film. It was called Palms, like the palm of your hand. It's on YouTube now, and it has over 5 million views. and there are people who are just, the comments behind this are very, very favorable. And people who were on the fence or considering adoption saw this film and just became really engaged and moved by it. And that sort of opened up the window to do more projects and to address subjects that weren't being so highlighted. We have an industry where there are films that I like, but I might not necessarily want to produce myself. So I want to do films based on bullying or suicide or racism. And so my latest project is called the Sack Fly, and that's inspired by a true story. And so anyway, just the support and the response from others who like the films that we're producing, sort of continue that that progress. And so Goody Goodlow was very instrumental and continue to champion behind the films that were produced. And yeah, so that's where I am now, just trying to continue to move forward and doing good projects. But just seeing people around, seeing the plights, and just, wow, so much to tell this story. That's where it kind of started off at. And it became more of a passion project than trying to get into a super movie complex. That'd be fine, but this is more of a passion project, and to put it on the line for people to see it, access it for free. So.
Well, we're going to go ahead and show the trailer. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What you're about to see was inspired by a true story.
Now, huh? Want you and your little monkey friend there, split a bucket of chicken out back.
You got to understand that the color of a man's skin didn't necessarily match the color of his heart.
Your granddaughter's deaf. You're gonna have to learn sign language if you want to communicate with her.
I don't want your money. I want you out of my barbershop. Stop it! Hey, just stop it!
What about that kid we saw throwing a baseball against the wall? Looked like he could throw a little bit. Who's that, black kid? Yeah.
Ain't no Negro ever gonna play on my baseball team.
This world is not changing. It's got to. For her.
Cop cruising in a modern day slave mobile. Looking for who beat they own.
Yeah, I did it! I did it! It was me!
Except we come as children. What happened to those two?
They grew up.
Wow, very powerful. Very powerful.
Making me get all teary-eyed up in here again.
You get emotional about your own work?
I do. Yeah, I really connect with it. Yeah, it's that was actually inspired by a true story guy. I mean, did you have another question? You want me to go into this?
Oh no, go ahead. Yeah, that's what I wanted to.
The question was for you to go into this. Yeah, go into the making.
So in 2013, there was a young man named Michael Patterson who lived in Rockmount, Georgia. He was out fishing with his son one day on a river in Rockmount, and he notices this little African American girl fall into the water, and she gets swept down this river. And so Mike is fishing with his son, abandons his fishing pole, drops it, runs into this stream. He dives in head first to save this little girl. But the water is not as deep as he first thought, and there's a big giant boulder that he doesn't see. He lands on this boulder, he dives in first and breaks his neck, and ends up grabbing the little girl as best he could. But then now he needs to be rescued. They grab the little girl, save her. They need to rescue him. They take him to the hospital, and he in the hospital is recovering. Takes about 3 weeks for him to see how his recovery is going to go. He develops pneumonia and a type of acidosis or something. There's other bacteria. He ends up dying. And there was a GoFundMe page on what I found, and she, was to support as best she could. And the story made headlines from all around the world. I mean, Tyler Perry actually sent money to him, and it was very supportive. And again, it's to tell this story. And so the equating of the sacrifice fly is a baseball term, the sac fly. It's when a batter at the plate will make an out, he'll himself be out to try to bring another runner home. And so the sacrifice is sort of a double entendre to kind of put those two absolutes together. And so I wrote the story based on what he did, not exactly to the, word for word, but him being a white guy in Rock Mount, Georgia, saving a black girl. A lot of people actually frowned upon that because they didn't understand why would you want to save this Negro girl? You and a white guy, you left your white son and dive into the water to save a black girl, and he's dying in the end. And got a lot of pushback from him. And so I contacted his mom and asked her if she would give me permission to not tell his story directly, but to write a movie around his story. And so the sac fly came about, and the journey to make this film was incredible. And I'll tell you one quick example of that. So being an independent filmmaker, I might not have the backings of a large studio, and getting funds to make films is extremely difficult. And this is a short film that we produced, and it was out of pocket. But I would go to business. I became my location manager. I produced it. I wrote it. I did the editing. I mean, it was, but that has to be done. And I would go drive around. I look at these different places. Oh, that's a good place to shoot there. Oh, maybe I can shoot there. Well, let me see if I can go up and ask that person, hey, I'm insured for $1 million, whatever. Can I use your facility to shoot this film? I mean, maybe a day and a half shooting. And so it's just one spot. And the guy was the barbershop guy. He says, oh, yeah, you can shoot. I like what your story is. Well, I need a place to also set up my preparation, my green room, my wardrobe, my catering, whatever. So we had to I looked up another site next door to the barbershop. Perfect spot next door. Lady had this big giant back area. It was fenced off, and there's trees and larger. So I went and knocked on the business door, and lady opens the door, and I said, my name is Dave Williams, and I want to know if we're doing this film. She shut the door in my face. Boom. What? I'm like, no, Lord, no, we gotta fight through this. I knocked on the door again, no answer. So I'm scratching my head. I said, well, let me go next door and see if they can speak to her. I didn't know the next door people. There was a dentist office, right? Huge dentist office, really big giant courtyard and water fountains and greenery, shrubs, everything else like that. So I went to this dentist courtyard into the office, and I spoke to the receptionist there, and I told her who I was, what I'm trying to do, and if maybe they could speak to someone next door on our behalf and to use their facility. And the lady says, why not just use ours? I said, what? She says, yeah, let me go ask the head dentist. He's just finishing up surgery. So why don't you meet him in the back, behind the, I said, what? I said, okay. So I go behind there. Now his name is Dr. Dean Carlson. I went to the back, and sure enough, 5 minutes later, he came out taking off gloves. He just finished dental surgery. I had about 2 minutes. It was an elevator pitch. He says, oh, just use our facility. It's fine. Yeah, just tell us what you need. He says, I love what you're doing. He says, whether you're successful or not doesn't matter. He says, I'm in love with the passion behind what you're trying to do. Walked away. 2 days later, he gave me the keys to his facility. Didn't know me from Adam. Gave me the keys. There's something about the connection of that. And then actually you end up using the inside of the facility. He became a producer on the film. Never got paid, and actually paid me money, gave me money for my next project. Helped me put it. It's been that kind of just serendipitous approach to what I'm doing that people are giving me more by God's grace what it's been asking for. And so it happened a lot on Sack Fly. I mean, there are people that I actually paid money to use facility actually gave me the money back when they saw the film. And so we can't do that. I mean, it was an incredible journey. So they're passion projects, and I would love to have, big giant backing to do big works or whatever. But as long as we're able to communicate our story with what we have, Lord's like, what's in your hand, and use what's in your hand, and that's what we've been sort of pro. So anyway, so inspiration behind the Sack Fly was based upon Michael Patterson's sacrifice, and the inspiration behind Palms Adopted was based on my son. I had another film called Taub Silent. It was based on bullying, and just it's been that kind of journey. Something I can connect with. I don't want to just write, and nothing against people who write films. They're just for scare or shock, because I enjoy those too. But I want to write something that I can look at and just kind of ponder and just be moved by, and something to say, wow, we're glad we were able to touch some lives. But no, I see something like that and I go, I start doing this again. I'm a big wuss. I know I am. It's okay. I could take somebody out, and yet I'm just a big old bag of tears myself. So
well, that's the problem. What people don't understand about people like you and that are big and into like security, and even with law enforcement, they don't realize that you're still human and you still have emotions and all that kind of stuff, and stuff gets you emotional. But what the trailer that you've shown, it's very emotional. So I can see you tearing up with everybody else. But I wanted to say that your testimony is powerful. And Tonya and I, we always talk about stuff like what you're doing, but it's all about the connections. In this day and age, everything's social media, texting, and doing all that kind of stuff. Nobody's really getting out connecting. But here it is, you went out and you connected with people, and look how many doors have opened up for you with this project by you just knocking on some doors and being engaging. And that's what we've gotten away from, that whole engagement with other people. That I think that's really messing society up today, because we're not as engaging as we used to be. And here it is, you went to ask for help and you got help, but you got more help than you was expecting. And that's awesome, and the story, obviously the story resonates with a lot of people, because people are pouring out and they want to help you. And that's good. And that just goes to show you how you don't have to do the traditional route in getting something out there. Like you said, you're not a writer or that kind of stuff. You did it your way, and your way is working. And your way is going to open up doors for other people to do it, because there's other people like you, like Tonya, like myself, that have stories that need to be told or want to tell a story and just don't know, like you said, I ain't going to school to be no writer, and I don't plan to go to school to be no writer, stuff that, I got a story, I got some stuff, that if with the right people, the right camera, the right person, hey, that story can be told too, so yeah, awesome.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine said, if you want to learn how to bake a pie every day. Bake a pie every day, and you get better in the baking. And so I find it getting, I'm far away from, number one director producer, but I don't mind getting behind it and making mistakes and getting my knees scuffed up, because you learn along the way. We learn from our mistakes. And, but I think if your heart's in the right place and the right attention, I believe that people will see behind you. I equate sometimes to a person whose car is stuck in traffic, right? Their car caught down in the middle of an intersection, and they're sitting in their car, and people are, move out of the way, and you sit in your car doing nothing. People can go around you. But if people see you get out of your car and try to push yourself, you'd be surprised how many people get out of their car, fuel, and actually help you push. They see you trying to do the Herculean task by yourself, they will get behind you. And so that's been sort of again, another example of, if there are people to see the sincerity in what we're trying to do as a people, as a community, there are folks who are out there who will rally behind the effort, whether it be successful or not. In the end, they see the effort and trying to make a difference. And so that's been the successful part of my projects. It's just people having compassion and mercy on me and seeing what I'm trying to do and make it happen. So,
well, I was told a long time ago that the Lord helps those that help themselves. So whether that comes from the support of others, or you just finding a way to knock down doors and get it done. The Lord helps those that help themselves. So I definitely appreciate how you have been tenacious in what you're trying to do. Also, Gia, what you were saying in regards to the connections piece, it's the authentic connections. Because I think most of us, especially those of us that have been in business for a while, know that every connection is not authentic, right? And we know what that feels like. And we know the people that come through just because they want something in return, or they just want to be connected to something else greater than them instead of them working on being greater. There is an authentic connection that brings the kind of energy that allows for you to connect to the right people and get these types of projects done, these heartfelt, sincere and emotional projects. Like there's no faking something like that, right? There's no faking something like that. So I did want to ask you, one of the other things that we talk about often in business, and I can appreciate the status of the individuals that you have worked with before, but back that up just a little bit for the audience and talk about how you even get to a place where you are working with top tier individuals, where you are working with top names in an industry, that you're getting referred to other people, or you know, your name is being affiliated with having good work ethic to be able to continue to work with people that are top tier. Talk about that and what it takes to, you know, stay relevant in a business, whether it's the bodyguard business, driving, or films, but staying top tier and top of mind for people.
Bible says a good name is better than riches. And let's see here. Working with Michael, I was introduced to a good friend of his who was also a very, you know, top tier artist, performer. And he spoke to a guy named Bill Bray, was his personal manager, let's say. And so Bill introduced him to this person, and I connected with her, and I began to work with her, even during the tour and outside the tour. But when I first met her, though, she says, "Oh, Bill says you're fine. So here, grab my bag. Here's my purse. Here's my keys," and walked and never looked back, because my name had been proven of this level of, I guess, integrity or whatever, a built up trust, that if he said James is good, it was good because his word was good. And because I had a history of following through and again, not being perfect. We're not talking about perfection. But when people can trust you, when there's a level of integrity, all the applications in the world you fill out doesn't confirm who you are as a person, the integrity of a person. I used to fill out, I know I'm skipping here. There was a non-disclosure agreements that a person would fill out when we work with certain artists. And I always told the artist, I said, that doesn't prevent somebody from telling the story they want to tell. There has to be a personal, some type of integrity within themselves to not speak on against somebody or to try to write a book or whatever like that. For me, I'll never write a book deal. I have a bajillion stories I could drop down and get all my films financed forever and ever. No, because for me, all money is not good money. And when Judas received the 30 pieces of silver, it wasn't good money. It was blood money. And I'd rather own a quarter than borrow a dollar. I used to my dad that all the time. And so but it's a personal decision you have to make about yourself. You look in the mirror and know that you did this thing in the right way, and that your name goes forward before people even meet you. Oh yeah, I heard about so-and-so. Yes, I heard about so. Even the Michael Jackson job came about through a friend of mine who's drive limos, and somebody said, "Oh, I heard he's working with so-and-so. He may be available." They heard. And so when I went to apply with Michael, I met Bill Bray, and it was literally a elevator interview. I went to his office in Westwood, and I said, Mr. Bray, I'm here to talk with you. He says, "Well, I'm on my way down. Just meet me at the base of the elevator." So I went to the base of the elevator of this building. He came down, and he says, "Walk me to my car." And the interview was walking him from the elevator to his car. And that was my interview. And his thing was, oh yeah, I heard about you, and yeah, I'll give you a call in a couple of months. And the man called me a couple months later, and I'm on the road with Michael. I believe that we have an opportunity to be different and do things that we can not be ashamed of, or not to be trustworthy is a true honor. To be trusted is a true honor. And I think that I've established over the 30 plus years of doing this, there's been a level of trust. So if I go into a client's home or working with someone directly, they can feel assured that their home, their family, their business, their abouts are protected, and they're secured. And I think that's the most important thing. And so when someone hands me the key to their shop to do this something they don't know, I think this is a way of communicating the sincerity and the integrity of what I'm trying to do, the passion. There's some people just get it, and there's some that don't. And I've hired, I guess, well, I feel like I'm talking too much. My wife said don't dominate. She says stop talking so much. So I'm trying to hear in the back of my head here.
No.
That's his last thing. No, really. She says, you know how you go on and on and on and on. Yes, Francie. Thank you. I love you, sweetheart. See, I'm gonna be all thrown off.
We love it. We love it.
I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna stop there. I was okay. I'm gonna stop there. She's in my head now. She's in my head.
No, keep going. But that's what you're here for. You're here to let the people know what you're doing about your projects and how they all got started. So
I heard.
Well, what did you hear? What did you hear? Go ahead.
You'd rather own a quarter than borrow a dollar.
Borrow a dollar, yeah.
And you got that from your dad?
No, I told that to my dad.
Oh, you told him?
Really? Yeah, he said, where'd you get that from? I said, I don't know, but I'd rather own a quarter than borrow a dollar.
I love that. And then you talked about trust and integrity, which is huge. And I think that it's a lost art to develop relationships and build trust and instill integrity in your personal brand. You clearly have done that. Is that something that you also carry out in your personal life?
I have to. I have, well, yes, short answer, yes. There are, how can I say this? There are individuals who are on certain platforms and well viewed and well seen in society. A few of them that will are seen by the public and celebrated, and they're worthy of the celebration accolades, but who may have struggles themselves when they come off that stage, or have things they can't share. And I've been in a position where they will reach out to me, let's say, and talk, and they might say things like, James, I can't say this to anybody, but I just feel like I have to burden myself and let this, share this, whatever. And so they'll share what it is, and we'll pray, and it stays within the confines of our conversation. Because I think we all need to have someone in our lives that we can truly bear our soul with and to, that stays there, that is protected. I've had, again, I have a certain client that has someone that works for them that's not the brightest bulb in the package, not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but he says, I trust him, and I can trust, and that's the whole thing. So they may not get it all right, but they're trustworthy, and they put it over and over again. And so I think that it's we want to have somebody we can trust. And so I want to believe that I am trustworthy, still human, and so I have my moments of spontaneous combustion. I try to acknowledge that and embrace that, and try to, well, Lord, help me to learn through this moment. So I'm not a poster child for perfection, but I make the effort. It's like pushing the car out of that traffic. I make the effort to try to listen more, try to be kind to follow through on your word. I think communication is a huge a lack of communication. Let me put it a better term. I think social media, not to dog it out, but I think it's actually caused more of a separation of humanity. I had a friend of mine who has a little girl. She had her little friend of hers came over. They want to have a play day at each other's house. But before all that, they were texting each other. All they do is text. So one day she invites a little friend over, maybe 10, 11 years old, and they show up at her house. The two girls are in the backyard, don't say a word. They don't talk. They're swinging next to each other, no talking. They sit down and have some meat, no communication, very, very quiet. As soon as they leave each other, back to texting, back to talking, texting. There are people who don't know how to look at each other people in the eyes sometimes, because they're so used to hiding behind a screen or behind a text.
Yeah.
And so somebody in the eyes. And I don't want to lose that type of connection. And so when I talk to someone, they talk to me, I look them at their eyes. Sometimes it exposes things about them. But I know I have their undivided attention. They have mine. And I think that even when I communicate a project to somebody or can I shoot her or talk to an artist or actor, whatever, I think they say, we know James ain't rolling in some, high-end car, living in a house on the hill. Nothing wrong with that. But he's sincere about his work or is passionate about what he does. He makes the effort to try to do the right thing. I like someone that's making the effort to do the right thing. And so I've been very, very blessed and I guess in a way successful in securing others' belief in me and my sincerity. So
what do you have coming up next? What's next for you?
So my church, we have this, it's called Pop-Up Pantry. And we've been supplying and helping the community out with food since the COVID crisis, and we continue to do that. And I been doing this for 2 years. In fact, I go from here to do that. And there are a few individuals that come all the time to just volunteer work. And I got to ask them. I said, "Why do you do this?" And you think that, well, it's just I want to feel good about myself. I'll help other people out. But there are stories behind those who are volunteering to do this. Some of the stories are, well, I don't want to go home and commit suicide. I don't want to feel not needed. I have nobody to share my heart with. And there are people who actually volunteer, some for their own feeding. And so I'm working on a documentary entitled When I Was Hungry. In the Bible just saw, when I was hungry, you fed me. So when were you hungry? Well, when did we see you naked and poor? And so my interviewing certain individuals or the volunteers is to ask them why they do what they do, what inspires them to do what they do. And so it comes from a social, economical, spiritual, and other aspects of why they do what they do, and the benefits behind volunteering, giving yourself to something greater than you. Unselfish, and just telling the story, trying to put together now to package that. And again, it's a run and gun operation. I am on camera, and there's no crew behind me. It's just sitting down, people talking, interviewing, and then certain organizations like LA Mission, Union Rescue Mission, Food on Foot, my church, and even some of the prison ministries have been a part of this package put together to help me produce this documentary. It's a couple of years in the making because of COVID kind of set everything back. That's one. Another project I'm working on is called The Monarch's Whisper that addresses suicide. It's something I started, and in fact, the doctor that actually gave me money after doing Sack Fly sort of was the catalyst to produce this next film called The Monarch's Whisper. We only had a fund so to produce maybe the first 15 minutes of the concept of it. But eventually I like to, feature film it and really have the full script and things that I already laid out. And then my wife has a book she wants to kind of highlight on. But right now it's primarily When I Was Hungry and something called The Monarch's Whisper. And I also like to do the Sack Fly as a feature film. So I'm still knocking on doors and trying to get, that kind of support to produce, because what I had in mind was something a little bit larger scale than the short film I produced. because there's other backstories about the characters, and kind of wanted to highlight on more of the kids, because there's a line in,
I'm sorry, real quick. Do people pitch you ideas, or you strictly go with what it is that's moving you at the moment?
That's the one there.
Do you accept pitches?
I don't receive too many pitches. I think the only pitcher is my wife, who she says you should do a story about this and that or whatever. And so I'm kind of, looking to that, because I trust their instincts on that. But no one really is pitching me. I don't think I'm that exposed that, I mean, my company is Raking Leaves Productions, but I'm not receiving pitches or submittals. It's just something that moves me. And I had a friend of Goody's, who's her name is Dr. Cheryl, and she's this prophet. And so we went to our gathering one Sunday, maybe about 10 years ago. And so she walked up to me and my wife and spoke up to my wife and everything. And then she says to me, I said, well, you got to tell me something. Give me a word. And she says, rake your own leaves. So rake your own leaves. She says, don't rake anybody else's leaves. Don't let anybody else rake your leaves. Rake your own leaves. And for a while, I didn't know what that meant. It then started kind of coming to pass, kind of opening up what she was talking about. So my company's called Raking Leaves Productions, because this is something that I feel that's in me that has to be birthed out, has to be given birth to, that no one else can truly see, and I'm not trying to depend on someone else to see. Yeah, this is something that has to come from within me. So I'm not really, looking for scripts to come across my desk or so to read through and let me do this project. It has to be, again, something that's going to make these guys well up here. It starts from in here. And something I don't mind staying up all night, all the hours of night, working on it and going on my way to make happen. So yeah, all of our projects have come from my own, just a burden that I want to share and try to tell the story, make the world a better place.
I definitely can appreciate that. Let the people know how they can keep up with you, how they can support you, and find some more of your work.
So my website is RLP Films. So it's Raking Leaves Productions, RLPfilms.com. And I can be reached there. All my films are free to see. There's no donation or subscription required. I think if the day should come that I'm financially blessed or whatever to have that, that's fine. But that's not the objective here. I do fairly well doing security work, but it's not enough to produce, a large scale film. So I'm looking though for an opportunity to connect with those who are like-minded in trying to tell stories and impact the world. So Raking Leaves Productions, RLPfilms.com is probably the best way. My name is James Williams, J. Williams, but if you Google search Deep Williams, I come up. Deep Williams is the name my little sister gave me one, but because your films are so deep, so Deep Williams stuck. My mom thought it was a porn artist. Says that's like a porn film name.
I was going to ask you where did the Deep Williams come from, but then after listening to you talk and I seeing the film, the trailer, I realized, oh, he probably got that as a nickname because his stuff is deep. Because the first I was like, Deep Williams, okay, I'm gonna come back on that one.
I'm taking my shirt off, right? No, so my mom said Deep Williams, that's a porno name. I'm like, Mom, no, okay. But it just kind of stuck with me, like, I don't. All right, J. Williams. So that's how I've been. But I'm on IMDb and Vimeo, things like that. And Raking Leaves Productions. If you Google that, they'll see all the films online, and they're all passion projects. But I would love. There's so many films out there today that I love Spider-Man. I love these kind of stories. It's Crimson Tide, that kind of stuff. But it's the kind of film I want to tell aren't those kind of films.
Yeah. And
my thing is I want to be able to connect to the heart. I want people to be able to have a conversation afterwards. And especially this film on the Sack Fly. It's I would encourage people to see it. It's like 30 minutes, and it's gotten again, it's a very moving piece. It's a discussion, and especially for today's time with the racism and just things. I couldn't believe America was. I didn't believe America was that deeply divided racially. I thought we were, after Obama, we were kind of, we're getting together, kumbaya. It's so far apart now, and so I wish I, like, Lord, please let me do my part to let my light shine here. And so that's where I'm at now, trying to knock on some bigger doors here to make it happen. So
sounds good. Well, we want to thank you for spending time with us today, for sharing with our audience the work that you're doing and the inspiration behind it, and going a little deeper and talking about some of the things that make people great, right? The authenticity, the trust, and building relationships and integrity and all that cool stuff. So we definitely want you to know that once you're part of this My Morning Coffee family, you're always a part of the family. So when you have something cool going on, definitely send it to us. Let us continue to help elevate your voice and share the good work that you're doing. Keep us posted on how we can connect. We go live at events. So if you guys are having an event and you want to come out, it would be great to be there and support you and just bring our audience to you. So keep us posted on that.
I promise I'll be in I won't be in my truck next time on the side of the road here. I'll find a nice Wi-Fi connection someplace. But thank you for your kindness and graciousness and allowing me to be a part of your this format. This is absolutely beautiful, absolutely wonderful.
We've enjoyed our carpool karaoke with you.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and no, I'm honored. Thank you so much, and this is I hope I hit all the right notes, and I won't hear when I get home how I talk too much.
Hey, so, you were authentic. That's all we can ask.
Exactly.
Thank you. And thank you, wife.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. God bless.
Happy birthday to your son.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. It starts driving. Oh, Lord.
Auntie Gia.
Oh, my goodness.
So, what'd you think?
Wow. The trailer it was awesome. I was like, wow, this was I can't wait to see, when he finishes it and it all comes together, because the little piece that we did see was interesting.
You can go online. It's on there.
Yeah.
All his stuff is accessible. So I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
To spend some time watching that. I just thought it was good work. It was crystal clear. It was good work. It didn't look cheap.
Right. Yeah, it looked like, I was like, wow, he's good.
It did not look like a cheap production, and we've seen some
cheap productions. Yes.
We've seen some hood flicks.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
But I think it was good, and appreciate him having the time to talk to us about that. So we're gonna have to reconvene after you watch it.
Yes.
Maybe you put it on while you're doing some of your artsy fartsy stuff.
I don't know, because it was kind of emotional. See, that's the thing. So if I don't know what my work would look like watching it.
You never know. It might be inspirational. You might come up with something that's just
something deep. I might come up with something deep. Yes.
Boy, you doing porn behind my back?
Yeah, exactly. Girl, 'cause I sure was like, okay, the deep, but
you're nasty. You're nasty. You an old biddy. You nasty.
Yeah. No, it was just, I was like, where is that? But then after I saw the movie, I was like, and listening to him talk, I could see, okay, he is a deep, I was gonna say you a deep brother, stuff, because he, but yeah, that's cool though, stuff. So
well, good enough. So next week we have some amazingly beautiful soror guests that are coming on, in case you don't know.
Yes.
Listen, y'all, we're going to surprise you, and I'm going to get the promo ready for next week. So stay connected. Follow us on all our social media platforms. We're on Facebook. We are My Morning Coffee Drip on Instagram. And if you need me, Tonya McKenzie PR, but we're going to get that together, and we're going to have some beautiful faces around here next week. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be a good week. Yep. All right. So anything you want to leave them with, Ms. Gia?
Well, you guys know where to find me. Instagram, The Mahogany Box, Facebook, The Mahogany Box. So And if you want to, you know, connect to me outside of Mahogany Box, you know, you can always find me on Instagram as, you know, Gia Neal Sneed. I'm sorry, it's not I am Gia Sneed on Instagram. So, you know.
So glad she's using her married name.
Hey, you know, look.
Listen.
I'm trying to hold up my end of the agreement. I said when I retire, okay, that was our agreement that while I was working, I would keep my maiden name because everybody knows me at work from my maiden name. So, you know, it's getting close, you know, it's getting close to retirement. So, you know.
Y'all meet Gia Sneed.
Ah!
All right, girl. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great weekend and take care.